Hi, I'm Wayne Tuttle, and welcome to Chasing Legends. Welcome back, I'm Wayne Tuttle, and this is Chasing Legends. Remember to go down there, hit notifications, the little bell for notifications, hit subscribe up to us, leave a comment if you like. We do reply, we do pay attention to what you guys have to say, suggestions you might have, and we try to answer questions. Also, represent.com, we have the Legend of Superstition Mountains shirts and Dutch Hunter Rendezvous shirts available right now. Got them at an extra special low price, so go in there and grab up on those things. This week, being it's 112 degrees outside, I wanted to talk about some of the struggles that people have in the desert and so forth. Now, we did a live cast concerning basically the deaths and sort of things and over the years, and one of the things we found out, we were kind of a little thrown off by, and this is reported deaths and known deaths, but there was an escalation in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, early 90s, on the disappearances of a number of people and murders and so forth. And we talked about it in depth, and I went through the lists of people that were known to have been murdered, the suicides, missing persons, and so forth. And I don't want to be redundant and go through that and go through these lists and talk about some of the more noteworthy ones and so forth. Maybe I'll do that again, but we'd like to archive all those first 100 shows or so forth and get those up and make them separate and have them categorized year by year and kind of continue with what we're doing. So looking at it as it's summer, it's August, it's hot out here, and generally this time of year you don't really find many people up in the mountains. You got the people that just, like, I don't know, they think they have something to prove and they want to go out there and think, yeah, you know, but most of the deaths that have happened since 2000, and there are exceptions, but most of the deaths that have happened have been your hikers, your outdoors people looking for something, you know, to do. They're going in at first water out to Garden Valley, or maybe trying to do the loop around the Needle through Black Mesa. Siphon draw is always a big one, getting up on the Flatiron. We've had a number of people that they're not treasure hunters, they're not Dutch hunters, they have nothing to do associated with the legend. And there are people always kind of confuse the two things. You're going to have the same things happening on South Mountain in the White Tanks and the Estrellas. They're just people that go out in the hiking trails. You'll have them on the inner city in different areas. It is what it is. The known kind of like treasure hunters that have passed away probably in the last 20 years, and like I said, it's been few and far between. The two noteworthy ones were Jesse Capens, who came out of, I believe it was Denver, Colorado, and was found dead. I don't think he was even in the mountains very long. He established camp, went out, and they believe in the first day, I think it might have been, I could be wrong, it might have been the second day, but I think it was even during the first day, he took a fall and ended up dying. It's almost hard to judge because there's so many people that are what you call greenhorn rookies, go out and think they really know what they're doing and they don't, and then something tragic happens. It's hard because accidents do happen, and sometimes there are people who have no business in the mountains, no knowledge whatsoever, and they spend a week out there, survive, and have no mishaps. And then you have someone that actually knows what they're doing and they trip, fall, boom, and they're dead. The other was the three gentlemen from Utah, and I'm not going to go through their names, but kind of like, and I try to, while I know those stories and I was, you know, involved kind of in both in the searches, I went out and volunteered. At the same time, I know with the gentleman from Utah, Rick Gwynn did find two of the men, but after they gave us maps, the maps, they had hand-drawn maps on there, and I think they were in their car and whatnot, and the search and rescue people made sure they were distributed to various people so we could try to interpret and give them clues to where they were. I think the thing that came out of it was Rick kind of recognized and kind of knew what was going on at the rendezvous when we were talking. And after the rendezvous, I believe it was, Rick went out and said he had a good idea where he thought they might be and wanted to go take a look, and he ended up being correct. But all this withstanding, a lot of places like they'll tell the stories of superstitions, the folklore. They like to tell the tall tales. And there's always a smidgen of truth. And there's a lot of just like stuff that's been made up, and that's fine. I mean, if it brings people into Goldfield Ghost Town, brings people into the museum and stuff, and maybe it's on an economic thing. This here, what we try to do is we want to be honest, we want to be straightforward, we want to be truthful. So when we try to bring something forward, try to give you all the information, and I think if people look at like what someone else will report and talk about Adolf Ruth compared with us, you'll see that we're not out there trying to sell a book, we're not trying to sell some sort of fantastical idea and get, we don't need 500,000 views to do that. We're trying to actually inform the public and be honest, straightforward, and tell the truth. It's kind of odd and funny, but a lot of people are out there for the entertainment value, and it's not to knock them, because entertainment is entertainment. Ghost stories around the campfire are just that. But in this, we've always tried to kind of like give you guys kind of the reality of the way things are, what works, what doesn't work, and so forth. And we've been through that with the drones, where you watch a 42-minute episode of something on television and they use a drone for 2 minutes of that 42 minutes, but everybody's like screaming, get a drone. Well, they're barely using any of that type of footage. It just makes an impact here and there where they think it's necessary, and then everybody screams, oh, a drone would be wonderful. It'd be nice, but it wouldn't be something we would overuse, I think, most of the time. So you're planning on a trip, and please don't go out in the summer. Out here in Arizona, getting into May, and then June, July, August, even September, until we get to mid-October, it's hot. It's in the over 100. It's not going to cool down that much in the desert at night. Right now, like I said today, it's probably 111, 112 degrees. It's unbearable. We're not having much of a monsoon, so there's not much of any rainfall, and it's just, you'll bake out there. If you don't know what you're getting into, you think you're a tough guy, I'm not even going to challenge you, because it's just pure stupidity to go back and spend significant time in the mountains. There are going to always be those people that think, oh, I know what I'm doing. I used to go out in July. One of the reasons I quit kind of doing it and posting the video I was doing and going live or whatever, or showing the video of myself back in Fish Creek and some of the places I was going in during the summer, is I felt it was kind of like sending the wrong message to people. Oh, Wayne's doing it. That's no problem. I've done it all my life. Now, there's also you have to understand, there's the lucky. A lot of us have done stuff over many, many, many years. Maybe we've just gotten lucky. There's a lot more survivors, way over on the percentage of survivors than the people that have died, obviously, because most of us are all still around talking. But when you go back in the mountains and you're planning a trip this fall, and let's just say you want to go back for the day and stuff, what are some of the essential things that you should be taking? Obviously, you're going to take a pack. Anytime you bring water, and especially if you're new to the area, if you don't live in Arizona, if you don't live in the Sonoran Desert, and you're used and kind of understand what you need water and how to do your water replacement, and understand your body and how your body temperature and everything works, carry twice as much water as you plan that you think you should. If you think you need a gallon of water for the trip, bring 2. If you're coming out and it's an area you're going to go back into, bury it, hide it somewhere so you can pick it up on the next one if you have that whole gallon left. But bring more water than you need. People generally don't understand, and there's a difference between being dehydrated and being overheated as well. You get back in the mountains and you want to understand your body temperature just rises up, and maybe it's because you got too much sun on your skin and your core body temperature goes up, and that's something very important too. There are some pictures I think in Facebook people have seen and a number of things. One of the things I always like to do is throw water on my head, get water on my hands, and I will take my boots off or my shoes off and I will stick my feet in water. Why? Because those are the extremities that'll cool your body temperature down as quickly as possible. Find shade whenever possible. When you're taking a break, just don't stand out in the sunlight. Wear a hat, wear a bandana, wear something to keep the heat off your head. Shade your eyes, because another thing, that sunlight reflecting into your eyes. Some people like to wear sunglasses. I don't, because it changes my view of things. But always wear a hat, wear loose clothing. One of the things, if you watch Legend Superstition Mountains, you'll see I had layered and very loose, baggy clothing on me. All the clothes were actually oversized to me so I could keep kind of some air moving and not feel hot. I don't care how it looks or if it looks a little sloppy or whatnot. I want everything to breathe and be able to bring the air in and out and cool myself off. So those are particular things. It's another one of the reasons I don't wear hiking boots. I generally wear the high tops I always wear. I've always wore them in the mountains. I don't care what anyone anyone says. It's what served me well. I've never had a broken or sprained ankle. I know my footing with them. There's something I wear every day. But the most important aspect with them is they're very comfortable and they vent very well. So my feet stay cool as possible. End of the day, you come in, your feet are always sore from the hiking boots. And people are like, yeah, I went hiking yesterday. My feet are never sore. They're always the same the next day. I just did more walking. My legs might be sore, but my feet feel fine. So wear everything that you wear for comfort, to cool, help cool your body off, but to protect your body from the sunlight and all that. Other essentials. Nowadays we have cellular phones. Just because your cellular service stops in the mountains doesn't mean your phone might not work. You can have a Garmin and so forth, but a lot of cellular phones, as long as the battery powers up, have a mapping system in them. Or you can get an app. Guess what they work off? GPS. What does GPS mean? Global Positioning Satellite, which means you have I can't use my data. Oh, my phone's out of it's out of okay. Guess what? The satellite's always up there. It's circling above the Earth. So which is another thing is people will say, well, you're not connected to the internet, dude. No, Global Positioning Satellite will be connected. I think there's been a couple things, I don't know if we got it at the end of this last season, where I was using it anywhere in the mountains I was going and being able, it's great for tracking, marking, and now so it just means rather than buying a $500 or $1,000 Garmin, I can actually even just use my phone and just keep track of things. I use this type of GPS and the software and stuff in work and in that type of thing and situation. So I'm very familiar with it, but it makes it easy. One of the keys to this is you're up in the mountains, you got your phone, you got your battery, you can't get a signal out, can't talk to somebody. You're not able to, well, guess what? You can also look down and most of the apps will have a satellite imagery of an actual map. You look down and you're seeing where you're at, you can see where the roads are, sometimes they're labeled, and you will be able to see a fixed position where you're at, which should get you out. So you can expand it, subtract it, and even if you move, you're gonna see where you're actually, the direction you're moving into. Very, very helpful. I don't think people talk about it enough, but it's something you should have out there. So in addition to that, you got water, you got something like that. One of the other big factors I always say is a knife. Bring a knife. You'll notice, anybody that notices that, not only myself and Frank, but the boys with us always on their packs and everybody's bringing a Bowie knife. This one I like in particular well. It has a sharpening stone. It has a fire starting flint in there. So it does all that. It's a pretty durable knife. It has the saw blade on it here and all. So it has all the different little fancy little things you do. I like those type of multi-use knives. Of course, also always having a small pen knife that can be in your pocket. So if you're away from your pack, that can cut parachute cord and stuff. And we have some really nice, sharp little pen knives that Frank and I have gotten. I can't remember the brand name and so forth, but find something comfortable. And always in gear and stuff, find what works for you. Don't just go out and find the most popular, and don't go for the cheapest. Go for whatever works for you. Always bring something to start a fire. If you get lost in the mountains, you get kind of like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm not getting out of the mountains. Always have matches and have a lighter. Have a little kit where you have the mirror, and I'm sure everybody's seen that. It has the little mirror, has a little this, has a little cotton balls, all kinds of different things. Maybe it has, whatever's in there, a whistle even, an old metal whistle. The idea is the metal whistle is brilliant. Someone hears a whistle back in the mountains, they're going to try to pay attention. If they keep hearing it going off in bursts of 3, they're probably going to go investigate. The mirror will catch people's attention, might be something another way, but fire, if you get stuck there and it's nighttime, I don't know how many people have been in cold camps, but there's nothing worse when it's pitch black and even if you're with other people, there's just nothing you can do. It takes forever. Time comes to a standstill. You got some fire, you feel kind of like a little more secure. Even if it's warm out, you have a little bit of warmth, it'll help keep the bugs away. Maybe you have some food you can cook. Even if not, it gives you some light. And we're not night people, we're definitely day people, day walkers, you can say. So when the night comes down and it goes pitch black and you're just gonna be sitting there and you're trying to think, how am I gonna get out of here? You'll definitely be far more depressed and kind of like a little more lost in yourself if you don't have light. Having the ability to make fire. Always practice making fire. I took Trevor out once and we were up in the Mount Superstitions and we went on a day hike and I showed him how to make what I call the bird's nest of going finding twigs and little pieces of brush and stuff and dead stuff and rolling it in my hands and making sure get it nothing moist in there and then build something of a bird's nest. and then just 1-2 strikes with my handy knife and my flint, boom, boom, and then boom, it catches. If you have everything prepared, no problem making a fire. You can do it literally any time in the desert, and it even works. You know, in some extreme wet circumstances, you may not think it works, but Randy and Wright and I were stuck in the Superstitions on a day where the lighters, the matches, everything failed us. It was actually with my fire starting kit with flint and steel, a piece of flint that I'd had since I was probably 10 years old, and it actually started a fire. We were able to get a fire going with some sage that we found, some dry sage. So fire starting is always something very essential. And I know people like to take little things that are unnecessary, but those are very, very essential items that I've just listed. First aid kit, I think, is always think of what the necessary things could be and needs. Having extra water helps, but having a wound clean kit and something just beyond bandages is very important. Having some tape to wrap something can be very important. You know, you get a gouge, it could take 20, 25 stitches, but guess what? And another important thing in your little first aid kit is crazy glue. Getting something like crazy glue, you split yourself wide open, you can actually get, if someone's with you even by yourself, seal that up, put a little glue on it, it's gonna seal the wound up and keep it from getting infected. You don't need to go all revenant, put gunpowder in there and light yourself on fire. Just do that. You're probably gonna get yourself out, but you'll do yourself a world of good. I know people will say filtration units and this and that, chlorine tablets and all these type of water purification type systems. One of the problems I have with that is you don't know where you will find that water. Now, yeah, Bluff Springs is still a very active spring. Hackberry still generally always has water, but springs can be dry and you may not be in those necessary areas or make those areas. Some of the springs will dry up in the summer. So having more water than you actually think you need and requiring other people. I've been with other people at times that suddenly halfway through the first day they ran out of water, and it's like, well, great, I brought extra water, but this is going to really tap us out. Fortunately, I knew where there's a spring is. We're able to go over, purify, you know, that night boil the water, make sure we replenished it. But it was like, you know, why would you, you know, bring far less water than you want? Well, it's heavy. Well, that isn't good enough. It's just the way it is. Always bring those essentials. One of the things that's most important than all of this, because we're talking about what you're taking in with your into the mountains, is what you leave behind. And what you leave behind is take something, and you can reprint it off your computer, do a topo map. And take that topo map and put it up and circle that area, general area of interest, put down in there. If you know the coordinates, put this, we're gonna go to this place, this place, this place. Put on the back, write down driving instructions. We're going in on Peralta Road, we're gonna park in the Peralta Road parking lot. We're gonna go up Cardiac Hill and drop into Barks Draw. Once we get up over here, we're gonna start going up north past Weaver's Needle. When we're on this trail system, we're gonna break off to Bluff Springs because there's an area I wanna check here. Give some little bit of specifics. And then circle that area that you're interested in. If it's a multi-day trip, talk about where we're planning on camp the first day, second day. And then leave it with someone. And if you know people at points of contact, say, look, if something happens to me, SARS is great, Superstition Search and Rescue, Maricopa or the Pinal County Sheriff's Department. But also, like in my case, I will leave the phone numbers. This is Greg Davis, this is Jack Carlson, this is Randy Wright, this is Jesse Feldman. These are all people that have helped and got in there, but they know me, but they also know the mountains, and they're going to be able to look at something and look at what I got, and I write it within mind of someone like that. Even if you put that point of contact as someone like myself, or someone that doesn't even know you, you'll say, you know what, this is where I'm going, I'm circling this area, I'm interested in this story and this and this and this. Make sure you guys contact one of these people or something. There's plenty of times that the search and rescue groups reach out to the Dutch hunters, the treasure hunters, the people who have been in the mountains, to ask us, what do you think? We're looking at this, we don't seem to be able to locate the guy, you want to come out and help? We know the trails, we know the off-trail areas, we know the bushwhacking areas, we know areas where people might go. When they had a particular book, we've read the book 50 times, so we know looking at the book of like what this guy might have got in his head, where he might have went, what it might have interested him. So we kind of are great resources to use in that, and we like to help because there's very real families and friends and different people behind these people, and we want to get these people back. Fortunately, the last 10, 20 years, we haven't had these problems, but that's so essential, letting someone know where you're going. So I hope all that helps. We'll cover more of this. Maybe we'll do a video on what's in Wayne's pack and kind of do something like that. But I hope all that helps. Please stay out during these times of year. It's dry out there, it's hot out there, and it's just as rough as it is for you and what it could do to you in your life. What's even worse is what it could possibly do to the people that know you and the people that go out to try to search and rescue you. So please be safe out there. Again, hit that bell for notifications after you subscribe. Leave a comment if you like, and catchrepresent.com and pick up a t-shirt or two. Dutch Hunter Rendezvous, Legend of the Superstition Mountain t-shirts. Remember, Lust for Gold, anything you see up on that, coming out here in the Arizona International Film Festival in October. Until the next time, this is Wayne Tuttle, and thank you for watching Chasing Legends.